So from my standpoint, it was actually the least risky thing I could do personally was to buy Bitcoin. And I always say that I sit at the intersection of two very, very different worlds. When I talk to friends on Wall Street or these large asset managers and stuff, they're like, you are insane having 95% of your net worth in this thing. And I say, sure, but I think you're insane for having 95% of your net worth in dollars or in dollar-denominated assets, right? So we see eye to eye on insanity. It's just two different assets. If I go talk to particularly young people in crypto that are on the edges of innovation and really kind of pushing the pace of this new stuff, they're like, dude, you are the least risk tolerant person I've ever met. Like, you just hold boomer coin, right? Like, Bitcoin doesn't do anything. And so how can it be that the same asset viewed by the youngest, most kind of forward-thinking, innovative people is seen as the most conservative, but by the oldest, most successful is seen as the most risky? It's actually probably where you want to sit, right? Is because you're taking the two worlds and you're kind of meeting them in the middle. And so when you ask about like allocations and all stuff, I always ask people, what are you optimizing for? I basically built a Venn diagram early on, and I said, okay, what is the thing that I think is most likely to be here 100 years from now, right? My plan is to hand Bitcoin to my grandkids. Okay, so it needs to be around for 100 years, the durability of it. And also, what is the thing that has a very attractive return compared to traditional assets? Bitcoin's compounded at 200% annually for a decade.
That's crazy.
Pretty crazy, right? So if it's durable and it has an attractive return compared to traditional assets, I'm going to go get a lot of that. And if I denominate my net worth in it and my life, like my financial life in it, it actually changes psychologically spending money. Because it's one thing if I say, hey, you're going to go spend a depreciating asset to buy a house or buy a car or buy whatever.
Might as well. It's going down in value anyway.
You're financially incentivized to do it, right? It's literally, it's going to lose value, so you better get rid of it. If I say to you, hey, you're going to buy something with an appreciating asset that is likely to be worth more in the future than it is today. Now, all of a sudden you think to yourself, well, what am I buying? Do I need it? Is it an investment? Is it going to be worth more than what this is going to be worth? You start to ask yourself some of the questions you might not have otherwise asked. And so it's one of these things where like I've basically just thrown my hands up and I said, look, the world is changing at a rapid pace. I spend all day on this stuff and I can't keep up. It will look very different 25 years from now than it does today. And how lucky are we that we get to live here, that we're talking about it, that we see the opportunities. And you know what? You and I will make a bunch of investment decisions. Some of them will work, some of them won't. My guess is that by picking the right industry that has a massive tailwind behind it, we would have to be really, 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 really stupid and then make really, really, really stupid decisions. We probably still will be okay. Because it's like saying, oh, I invested in the internet in the 90s. I mean, you had to be an absolute idiot to not somehow, somewhere end up better off after investing in the internet than before. I think the same thing's true here. So, you can make optimizations, all that, but at the end of the day, anyone who's paying attention to this stuff, I think is going to be fine.